Greetings, it's Vaygrim, back with another episode of Mod Guide. Now, we've been doing a series on Mod Guide of logistical pipes and how it works, and it's been a very, very interesting process, and I am not done with it yet. But I thought that maybe I should take a quick pause from it and interject how other sorting systems work, explain some of the basics of them to show you what your alternatives are. Now, in the process of doing that, what I have done, this is probably one of the largest and most elaborate sets I've ever built for a video. So I'm really hoping that this is going to turn into something rewarding for everybody. I'm just going to turn that off. Now, the way that I've got this set up is every single area has a 9 block by 10 block pad that they are working within. That is the constraints of the system and how I built them. They also have 2 chests right here at the front. One is the various parts that I used for the mod and the setup itself, as well as a uniform list or contents of a chest. All of the chests have the exact same things. I think even in the exact same order. So we will be sorting the contents of this chest on every single one of these setups. I've got extra utilities, a new one on the block, refined relocation. We've got Ender IO, Mekanism, thermal expansion. This is Project Red and even Vanilla. But let's go back to the beginning, so we can get started. Now, extra utilities is what we're going to start off with by RW Tema. Extra utilities is a fantastic mod because it adds a lot of content. But one of the things that I really think is its strongest suit is the sorting system called transfer nodes and transfer pipes. It's very simple. Doesn't require an elaborate amount of materials. You do need redstone blocks, redstone, and well, let's see, some ender pearls if you want to do it that way, or you can do one at a time. Basically, if you use a redstone block here, you'll get 1 transfer node. If you use an ender pearl, you get 4. I kind of think this is a better bang for your buck. You get more out of your materials. But stone, chest, and then these little transfer pipes, which is basically stone slabs, glass, and 1 piece of redstone. You get 32, which is fantastic deal. You get a lot of these pipes for a little bit of money. Now, they also got other pipes called sorting pipes. You get 8 of these at a time for a piece of gold in the middle. There's even filter pipes where you get a transfer pipe and put some dye of various colors around it. Mod sorting pipe, which is just a sorting pipe with redstone. You have to do those one at a time. There's even something called a retrieval node, which is very, very interesting. Now, this system is set up in such a way that you basically have pipes that connect just like this. Let me go get some and I'll show you. Let's see. I want to get one of those. And I'm going to grab that just in case, and I already know that I'm going to need a wrench. That one will probably do just fine. Any wrench is a wrench nowadays. So basically, we start off here at the beginning. This is a transfer node. What it does is that, was an experiment. What this does is actually grab items. If I put anything in this chest, it will pull it into this slot and then go searching for the next viable location. Now, normally it goes in a straight line. If we put a connection here, then every time it goes, it is going to make a 50-50 chance decision. And it's not going to split evenly. It might go down this route 4 times in a row, then go this one. It could do this one, this one, this one, this one, and alternate. It's random choice. Which means that if you have setups like this for chests, this is really bad. Really, really bad. So you don't want to do that. You want as straight a line as possible. You want to basically start at a point and then weave it up and around, which is why covers from Forge Microblocks is your friend. You put covers on, top of these things. I keep misclicking. Let's see if I can do this. And this is going to separate them very, very nicely. This wasn't even that nice previously before Minecraft 1.6.4 and Forge Multiblocks. Now that we've got Forge Multiblocks in, it makes things like this a lot easier. So now, if I run my pipes, you see, actually, we have a nice straight line that basically starts and then snakes up. And then you could keep continuing this up, snaking it back and forth, just separating it with covers. It's very nice. It makes for compact builds, and I like it. Now, the retrieval thing, the transfer node, actually has upgrades that you can do for it. One of the first upgrades I suggest you do is the stacks upgrade. You're going to have to make speed upgrades first, but blocks of redstone, 2 pieces of gold ingots, and 3 gold nuggets. Get you 4 of these things. The first thing I would do is make a stack upgrade, because what this means is that the stack upgrade, you put it in these slots on the bottom of the transfer node. You put some speed upgrades in here, it will search down the line quicker and quicker and quicker, which also means that if you have a linear path like this, it will go faster and faster because there's less random chance. Then you put a stack upgrade in here. That means that it's going to do whole stacks at a time. That's going to mean that you're going to have a very, very quick and efficient system. Now, you'll notice there's one different little node here. This is a sorting pipe. A sorting pipe has an automatic process that it works on. I have a sorting pipe on the back of this chest. If I get 1 piece of stone, then put that stone in there, it is going to automatically send it. And you'll see it's doing 1 at a time. So let's see if we can get some of these. I'm going to duplicate those. Most I can put in there is 64. Put those back here, because we want to keep those handy. Now, what you'll notice is the actual stone is showing up here, but it's disappearing. Where is it going? Well, down here we have a retrieval node, and the retrieval node automatically wants to retrieve anything that it's got 1 of. So if I put 1 in here, I have no stone in here. You notice a stack disappeared real quick, and it went, where did it go? Over to this one. So here's the thing, right? That retrieval node is basically, I think, retrieving these things 1 at a time. So one thing you have to keep in mind with extra utilities is prioritization. It is a very simple, very streamlined system. So it is going to find the nearest empty chest to put things in, or the nearest empty chest that will let it put things in. So I've swapped these around. I originally had the sorting pipe here and the transfer pipe here. I've moved it over 1 to show you an example. The sorting pipe automatically allows only what it already has 1 of, which means that normally if it was right here and I had 1 stone in there, the stone would go there. But since this is an empty chest, now the stone's going here first. So you have to remember, you have to prioritize. Now there's a couple of different other options you have. First, I would suggest that you have sorting pipes. Don't use just normal pipes unless you're traveling a distance. If you want to connect some other pipes over here, then use normal pipes. But otherwise, I would say sorting pipes for everything. Also, if you have a chest with a sorting pipe on it, like let's do this one, I'm going to put this stone in here. You'll notice it's going to go to the first chest, even though that has a sorting pipe on it. That's because the sorting pipe is accepting everything since the chest is empty. Now that it's got stone in it, all that it will accept is stone. And the next thing I put in will go to this chest, and then this chest, and this chest. So you want to almost calibrate your chest. You want to make sure that you've got the right things in the right places. So what I'm actually going to do, let's see, I've got this one set up. I can put 1 of those, 1 of those, 1 of those. Then we can just go through and handle some of these. Yeah, I'm going to keep those on hand. Let's see. The stone. So if I go through, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we just go through, put all the wood in here. Or wood, etc., etc. Now, if I take all of this ore and all of these things, whoops, not that, that I have sorting solutions for, you'll notice, because of the upgrades we put in, this stuff disappears very quickly. Now we've got stone here, ores, wood, and we've got our finished product, basically, our resources. Now, this is why this system is so useful. It's easy to set up. The only thing you have to remember is, in order for this system to keep working, I always have to leave at least one of everything. Now, this means if you've got a chest that you built items in, you're not going to want to do that. What you're going to want to end up using instead is the mod sorting pipe. Now, here's the downside, though. The mod sorting pipe works the same way as an advanced version of the sorting pipe. But here's the problem. If you actually have anything in a chest from a mod, it will automatically put everything else from that mod in there. So if I have a chest full of Thaumcraft goods like in here, let's say Mekanism, I just had osmium ore in here and osmium ingots, all my Mekanism stuff would automatically show up here, which I think is cool. But there's a downside to that. If you have a Minecraft item in there, everything from vanilla Minecraft will try to get jammed into that chest. So you really have to be careful about where you use those, because it's going straight down the line. If I have a mod sorting chest somewhere in the middle here with a Mekanism, with a Minecraft item in it, every single Minecraft item is going to get dumped in that chest on its way down the line, up and back around. Now, there's another thing you should know, is that you can actually manage how these connections work with each other before even having to worry about covers. If you get a wrench, you can right-click and you'll see these hash marks. These hash marks indication the direction of restriction. Basically, it will not go down a path that has a branch that has those hash marks on it. So now, if the connection was coming from down there and it came up, it would stop here and it wouldn't travel any further. With this, I would make sure that nothing would flow back. So this is a really good way to manage, making sure you don't get any unwanted loops. There's also this, right-click it again, it turns into white. That means you can run it past machines and chests without having to worry about it connecting. White is non-connect mode, and I use that quite a bit inside my bases. Now, if you do this, and then do the same thing over here, you put the hash marks on the same segment, they stop connecting. Right-click, again, and you'll make it go away. So you can actually manage making sure that sections don't connect. There's a downside to this, though. If you'll notice right here, I'm right-clicking, and it's not doing that. I don't know why, but the advanced pipes don't do that. Only the transfer pipes do. So sorting pipes or mod sorting pipes or anything else of that nature do not work that way. Now, there's a couple of other things that you can actually use in this mod that are very, very useful. One that I've already mentioned is the retrieval node. Basically, the retrieval node, you program it with a filter to automatically request certain things. A filter is crafted with sticks, redstone, and a piece of string. It's very, very simple. And basically, you just hold it and right-click it, and you've got basically 9 slots that you can put in here. Now, there's something else you can also do. If you put this in the crafting grid with a redstone torch, you invert it, which basically means this, in its current mode, is a whitelist filter. If you put it in the crafting grid with a redstone torch, you turn it to a blacklist filter. Everything but what's in here will go through. So you can actually flip it back and forth between whichever state you want, which is very, very nice. So there's a lot more that we can explore. There's filter pipes. Filter pipes basically, put one of these down, if you right click it, you have the different colored directions. Let me actually put it next to this chest. You have a different color that corresponds to each actual output. See, black is down, white is up. I have a hard time using these things because I'm colorblind, but they do have great purposes for direction specifics. And you can put item filters or even an inverse item filter into any of those slots, which means technically if I had this here, I can actually get this item filter, set it up with something, and then put it right there. So I can actually make it to where all of these connections restrict or maybe even allow something, and this one restricts it however I want to. It's a very useful system. And when you know how to actually make it connect to things or not connect to things, it's extremely valuable. Now, there is one thing I firmly encourage is that you really be careful about your layout. Like I said, you want to make sure that you don't have a chest with no contents in it because midway through your process, because that basically means that you're going to end up with a lot of stuff dumping in the wrong place. So if you're using sorting pipes, always put something in the chest connected to that to calibrate it. Now, another tip, on the end of your run, always make sure you have one chest that is connected with an ordinary transfer pipe. That will be your overflow chest. What that means is if the system can't find anywhere else to put it, it goes there, and then you can go check that chest regularly to make sure everything else is okay. It's a really good system, and I really like it. We could spend a lot more time on it, but that's basically the basics. Now, this is a new one, Refined Relocation. This is a very new mod. With Refined Relocation, it's actually fairly simple. It works with vanilla chests and chests from Iron Chests, the mod. It also works from barrels from Java, which is very cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with chests from Darkcraft. It doesn't work with strong boxes from Thermal Expansion, but I'm quite sure that the mod author is working his way up to that, which will be very nice. Basically, you get ordinary chests. In this case, I'm using iron chests from the Iron Chests mod, and you have the sorting upgrade, right? The sorting upgrade is made with 4 gold ingots and a glass pane. It's super simple, and I really love this system. Then you actually have something called a connector and a linker. Basically, the connector is what these filler blocks are back here. This is actually, if you look at my Wayla in the top middle, that's a sorting connector. All this does, basically, this mod works only with blocks that are connected to each other. So this is a connection block. It lets you go around corners or fill in spaces. If you right-click on it, with a right-click on a block and then right-click on it with the linker, you can change what that connector block looks like. That's what it looks like normally. But I like having it disguised as the flooring. It makes it more subdued. So here's the thing. Any chest that you input into in this system automatically sorts out to the rest because they all talk with each other. What you'll notice is you get this upgrade and you shift right click on a chest and it upgrades it and puts that on the top. Now you have the chest, right? But if you shift right click, you have all of these filters that you can go through and check. And you can change them between whitelist or blacklist. Now here's the thing. It defaults to blacklist. You're going to want to change that first thing to whitelist and then do your different systems on what you want in where. So right now, I've got this chest set up and I've got these automatically calibrated. What you'll notice is that if I turn this to receive, blocks are going to start streaming out through these. And I probably should have done a stack or a speed upgrade or something of that nature, but basically these are automatically sorting. So now we have, let's see, that's all my dusts. Ore. I don't think it's gotten to anything ore yet. Still doing wood, logs and planks, and those are basically bouncing through the system as we speak. So if we let this run, it will automatically figure out where everything goes and what belongs where. Now, I actually have a chest that is specifically devoted to redstone. And the redstone is shown up there. This one is specifically devoted to all ores. Dusts, that's where my dusts are going. Let's see. Building blocks. I think I'm going to have to contact the mod author about that. But basically, this is a filter for building blocks, and I'm not sure why. It didn't actually prioritize ores first. It's interesting. So basically, you can set these up with however much of a specific. Use these check boxes. I don't have any dyes set up right now, but this one is just food, which is why my steak and my raw beef showed up in here. You have gems. I don't have any gems that are being sorted. This is logs and planks. I'm not sure why building blocks prioritized, but I'm not sure I would actually use the building blocks categorization. It's just something I tried to explore. This one is all decoration blocks. I don't actually have any of those being sorted. This is, this one was redstone, and my redstone went there. This is dust tin silver, and I did materials. Now, I'm not actually sure why that went there, but all dusts went there, because this is where all my dust should show up. So I'm still figuring that out, and the mod is still definitely in its early stages. Now here's the cool part. You can actually redefine these. You have custom filters. So A, you can do a wild card. Like if I wanted to set down, let's say, a new chest. Get an upgrade here. I'm going to put it that. Right click, and then you shift, right click on the top. You'll notice it says blacklist is starting off, okay? One thing you're going to do is change that to whitelist. Then you shift right click, you change this to whitelist, and you have filters. If I wanted to, let's say I could do star or star. Or just star ore. Everything with ore in it will come here. But that means, and that's in the name. Unfortunately, that means, though, that when that happens, that is not only redstone ore, iron ore, etc., but that's also going to be golem cores from Thaumcraft. Anything that like that has ore at the end of a word or at the end of its title, it'll show up here. But there's a way around that. You have an ore dictionary lookup. What you can do is you can do exclamation point or star. All ore, anything declared as an ore, will go to this chest. Which means technically if I get all of this stuff, well, let's just dump it in here. I don't think this stuff, ingots are supposed to go there. I don't think any of this is supposed to show up in here. So now I think the ore, and see, it's still prioritizing. Let me see where it ends up in the system. Yep, still going there. It's weird. That's very, very weird. So there are still things that are being ironed out within this system itself, but I do think it is a very, very cool early game system if you actually set it up right. So now that should be everything defined as, yeah, see, all my ores are going there, stops there because it fits that filter first, basically. So I think refined relocation is a very good system. It's not very hard to set up. It definitely still has some kinks that are being worked out, but it's got a lot of possibility to it. It's very, very cool. If you set up a wall of chests, as long as they're all physically connected or connected with connector blocks, these things right here, sorting connectors, you could really set up a nice, elaborate, and streamlined system. You're just going to have to be real careful about how you set up your filters. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of things in the wrong area. Now, you can have multiple things. As I've shown over here, I have logs and planks. Checked. I could have this set to blacklist where it's everything but logs and planks. So there's a lot of options there, and I really do think it's very cool. Refined relocation is something worth keeping an eye on and looking into. Okay, now we have Mechanism. This is where things really start to get complicated. Mechanism is a very powerful sorting system, but it can also go wrong very, very quickly. Now, you have the logistical sorter and the logistical transporter pipes. Basically, the logistical sorter is very simple. You can make a control circuit, not real hard. You get a piston, some iron ingots, and that gets you the sorter itself. You're going to need make some transport pipes, and you get 8 per shot, and you're also going to need a configurator. So basically, you get these, set them down. I'm also going to grab this cover. Set them down. One thing you're going to want to make sure is you don't have any errant connections. Now, normally, you can actually shift right click, with this connection and set it to none, and it will not connect. Unfortunately, right now in this version of Mechanism, there seems to be a bug with that. It still cross connects. So you're going to want to make sure you're not near any equipment that you do not want this stuff to go into. Even trying to block it with covers, it goes through that. So that's not a great thing. But that will get ironed out in some next versions of Mechanism. I'm quite sure of it. So basically, you have the sorter. The sorter has filters. And every single filter is color-coded, just like every chest is color-coded. I think I have a duplicate. Yeah, okay, there we go. Never mind. Got that sorted out. So you want a color for everything. Now, here's a cool thing. You can actually cross-separate these colors with iron covers. But once they're colored, they actually won't cross-connect. They stay separated. Now, anybody that's ever used sorting systems in Minecraft 1.4.7 will recognize this very, very quickly as being similar to Red Power 2. And I definitely think this is where Aiden C. Brady got a lot of his inspiration from. You have to make a filter for every single item and tell it where you want it to go. The only benefit to the logistical sorter, the main benefit, is that you have no limitation to the number of filters you can make. And you can make OR dictionary declarations, which is very nice. Now, first thing that I highly recommend is auto eject turned to off. Auto eject normally, if you turn it on, it'll fire out everything, whether it's got a filter or not. If it doesn't have a filter, it sends it to the first available chest that has no filters defined to it, or the first uncolored chest, I guess. So I suggest you turn that off, because that basically means when you drop something in and it doesn't have a filter, it'll just sit there, which is very good. It lets you know you need to make a filter for things. You're going to have to make a filter for everything, but you only have to do it once. You can even pick these things up with a wrench, shift right click, put it back down, and the filters will actually stay in it, so you can move it. It's very nice. So basically, if I just get some things that I've already set filters for right now, what you'll notice, it grabs whole stacks and it color codes them as it's told by each filter. And you'll notice they go down the respective paths into the respective chests. There's stone, there's all my ore. Now, those are the only filters I've got. I'm actually going to show you how to set up, other filters. You just do item stack, oak wood. I wanted to go to the third chest, and that would be it. I'd hit save. Now, there's another option, though. If I want to, I can do OR dictionary, and I think we can do wood. I'm actually not sure what it is. So I am going to grab another nifty little contraption from Mechanism. Shift right click. Log wood. So if we wanted to, we could actually go OR dictionary, log wood, hit the check mark, and it says, yes, I know what that is. 1, 2, 3. Save, which means we have now we not only have item filters, but we have an OR dictionary filter down here, which means if I get any kind of log, they all should go to the same chest, which is nice. So that means that you can actually get this set up and get it organized by OR dictionary. You can even do OR dictionary wildcards if I want to do actually or star. check mark, it's going to cycle through every single kind of ore that it knows of. And you can actually set a filter for that to all go to one chest, which is very, very nice. So the system is extremely powerful. One resource that I highly recommend that you use is a control circuit in the book to make this little dictionary. You can either right-click on a block, no key, block gold, or you can shift right-click and actually put a block in there to figure out what the ore dictionary declaration is. It makes it easier to set up filters. It's very, very nice. So that's Mekanism really in a nutshell. The only hitch is there's only 16 colors in the system, which means that if you're setting up this system, you only have 16 chests that you can organize until you have to have another empty, uncolored chest and then another sorter going to another line of chests. Basically, it would be a serial system. It would filter everything it could, and in that case, if you were doing that, you would have to turn on auto-eject. It would send out everything. If it doesn't have a filter, it would go to the last uncolored chest, and then a new sorter would pull out from there to go to another line of chests. You can do those. Those builds just end up being a little bit bigger. So this is the kind of situation where I see this as viable reason to upgrade iron chests to gold or diamond chests. You can fit more in one thing. Now, it should be noted, if you have barrels attached to this system, you don't need colors for it. Barrels will automatically accept anything from these chests, from these pipes, that it can actually already hold. So if it's locked to stone, then it will accept that. And that means you don't really need to have a filter, but you do need to turn on auto eject if you're doing that. So that's something to actually consider. Mekanism is a very powerful sorting system. I've done other videos on it before for more elaborate and involved setups. So, yeah, I think it's worth looking at, to be sure. I don't know why I have that there. So, yeah, I think it's going to be very, very interesting and very, very powerful for folks to use. That is Mekanism. Now, Ender.io, this isn't really a sorting system. Not in the strictest sense, in more of the vaguest sense. You can sort with this because each one, I have one set of empowered item conduit running all the way around here. And all these different points that I have configured on already are set to insert with the filter. Now, why am I using empowered conduits, not the better conduits? That is specifically because it has a feature called sticky mode. Sticky mode means that if I put this whitelist here, it's only going to send this item to this chest because it's on this filter. It won't end up anywhere else at random, which is very, very nice. Which means now, if I actually do active without a signal, all of this stuff just got sorted out. Nope, all this stuff. Hang on a sec. I'm going to just start grabbing the stuff and start putting it in there and seeing where it goes. We've got filters for all of this already. Empowered conduits do a whole stack at a time. That's another reason to do it over the ordinary conduit. It's also a very simple system because you can manage where the connections go and what accepts everything more easily. It even has ore dictionary capabilities and metadata and NBT matching, which is very nice. You can do whitelist or blacklist. The only problem is you only have 10 slots for your filters, which is bad. It's kind of limiting, but that might get upgraded in the long-term future for Ender.io. I'm not sure. So I've already dumped some stuff. You see I've got stone in here. I've got my ores in here. I've got some of my materials, wood, etc., etc. It's real easy to set up and real easy to get configured. You're just limited on how much because there's no mod filtering. There's no dynamic filtering like the sorting pipe with extra utilities. You don't really have that flexibility. So while this is limiting, I think it is a very simple sorting system alternative. It works well with barrels. It works well with chests. And you don't even have to upgrade the chests that much because you are limited on how many things you can put in the filter. That means you end up having more chests, basically. So yeah, it's very cool. It's very nice. And I think it works very well. All this is empowered conduits. That's it. Now, unfortunately, these things are kind of expensive because it requires iron and ender pearls per actual pulsating iron, you need 3 of these just for 1 conduit. Well, 1 set of 4, but it's not cheap. So this is an alternative. I don't think it's a great one, though. Right across the way, there's thermal expansion. Now, thermal expansion is just like Ender IO in that it is actually not a legitimate sorting system. It functions the exact same way. I have impulse pipes because I'm lazy, and I want things to happen quicker. I have a filter set to stone. Only stone will show up in this actual system. If I put stone in here, gets sorted out. Only shows up in that chest. Let's see. I have ores, resources, I think, automatically filtered. Put them in. They disappear just as quickly. Now, here's the thing. Nice and simple. You get this connection just by putting a pipe here. The only way to get filters is to put a actual pneumatic servo on every single connection. So there's a pneumatic servo there, all the way around. That's a lot of pneumatic servos. It's a lot of pain just to put some filtering. Problem number 2, again, just like Ender IO, you only have 9 slots to filter by. But this does do OR dictionary filtering. You can even have it ignore or watch metadata. You can do whitelist or blacklist. So there is some flexibility there, to be sure. And it is a very viable system. It's just limited inherently. Now, of course, over here we have Project Red. Project Red is one of the most complicated systems that I've seen outside of logistics pipes. I think the only thing more complicated, and I'm not covering it here simply because I don't have it in this mod pack, is logistics pipes. And I've been doing logistics pipes in other videos. So, Project Red does have its own system that is somewhere in between the old Red Power system and logistics pipes itself. You have routed interface pipes, right? And they have 4 slots for chips, item extractor chip. You take this out and you just right click on it. You have some options. Filtering, metadata on, off, blacklist, whitelist, whatever the case may be. Orientation, what side you want it to actually extract from on the machine. So there is some flexibility here because it has what's called sneaky upgrade or sneaky mode, where you can have it connected to the east side, but it could tell the chest it's pulling from the bottom or the top. And you can do that from machines as well, which is very nice. But I have to say this is one of the most complicated, one of the most beginner unfriendly systems that I've ever seen. First of all, just like logistics pipes, you have to have an item responder and an item broadcaster chip. This tells them the thing what you want it to actually look for. If I pull this out and just right click, I have it set to filter and ask for stone. First of all, thank goodness there's tooltips because these icons are kind of useless. I do not know what these mean by themselves. I have to rely on the tooltips. Problem number 2 is that if I want to upgrade, I'm going to get myself a... and this is just an example. Holy crap. There's a lot of stuff in here. I have this chip, right? Item responder chip. I'm going to upgrade this. No, I'm not. Here's the one thing that I think is annoying. First of all, I am left clicking. I can't get this thing out of my inventory now. I cannot drop it. I have to multi-click in one slot rapidly. There we go. See? It takes me minutes just to drop the things. Now, here's the other hitch. You'll see I have to right click and even open this up, then close it. Then I can socket that chip in. You cannot get a blank chip, and see, I can't set it back down now. You can't get a blank chip and put it in a thing. You have to open up the menu first, then close the menu, then put it in there. Even if you don't change any settings, it won't take a straight up chip. I think that's not good. Other problem. I have this stack of item responder chips. Because I have configured this now, these are blank, air quotes, it won't stack anymore. Which means inherently I'm going to end up with multiple stacks of each of these, which I think is kind of garbage. Now, there's also these upgrade chips, but presently these upgrade chips have actually been pulled out, I think. I'm not sure they're actually, I think they're overhauling this because I cannot determine exactly what use they have. It used to be you upgraded these chips with these, and you upgraded the cards basically with the chips, and that improved their functionality. Right now, I don't think they're actually usable, but ignoring that, basically you have the interface pipe, which has this standard upgrade interface. It attaches to machines, chests, what have you. And then you have the ordinary transport pipe. This does not connect to anything. It only moves stuff. Now, there's also this, which is a routed request pipe. This is the real perk to this system. Let me get some stuff. I mean that in the strictest sense of the term. I think all of this has been configured to have a home. So here's the other problem right now. I can't figure out how to upgrade this. So it's kind of slow. It's sending these things out in batches of 8. And I do know there is a way to upgrade these, but from the videos I've seen of other people doing them previously, that doesn't work on the current version of Project Red. So I think they're overhauling it. But, yeah, see? In groups of 8. Now, you can go over here. As the system communicates, you'll see 40 gold and 8 shiny ingots. I can request any or all of those if I want to. Submit. Spits it out right there. I can put a chest up here that it'll send it into, whatever. But I have that gold now. And that stuff's still being sorted. So this system is not very intuitive. It's not very easy to figure out. If I get one of these, let's see, extractor chips. There used to be slots over here for upgrades, and I'm not even sure that system works anymore. And now that I've right-clicked on that, I can't put that back in the stack. It's separate. Now, there are crafting pipes with the system. There's the request pipe that I just showed you. Extension pipes, interface pipes. I'm still figuring out a lot of what the system actually has to offer, but this is the basics, the very basics. You have an extractor chip in this, and then all of these have an item responder and a broadcaster, and each item responder chip has 9 filter slots on it, just like thermal expansion or Ender IO. So this is basically that Ender IO sorting system right over there, but it automatically lets you retrieve as well, which is nice, but barring some more streamlined and more simplified methods of using this system and upgrading it, I don't really see it as being all that useful. I'd honestly rather suffer with logistics pipes. It's a little bit easier to figure out as there's more documentation on it out there. But that is a Project Red sorting system, at least in its basics. I expect that within the near future I'll be revisiting that. Now, here's another alternative we've got. That's applied energistics. I will address that. Actually, you know what? I'll save this as last. Let's do applied energistics first. I think vanilla has earned the right to be last. So, applied energistics, first of all, requires power. Even these chests, the minute that they lose power, you can't get stuff out of them anymore. But everything here, like back here, these chests automatically connect to the AE system by cable, right? Then I have storage buses, each one configured for what the barrel they're attached to is supposed to be accepting. I have this ordinary chest back here that is configured with the storage bus. I have drives that have been not pre-configured, but they're lower in priority, so everything should be going into here first. Now, if I get, yeah, I got a dolly right there. Get this. This is an import bus. If I stick this pipe down here, it will pull all of this stuff out in theory. Yeah, always active. There we go. Takes just a second, and it's sorting all of that. So now all of it's been pulled into the system. All of it's accessible through a central location, and I can even use it in crafting if I want to. And you can go through and see some of these things ended up right here in this drive, and I can even show you. That's where my wood planks showed up, which is cool. It's good to know. None of this actually has anything else. I've got my armor in here. Shows how many armor and tools, how many different ones of that I've got. Raw beef. I've got my resources right here, dusts, ingots, redstone. I've got all the things that were supposed to show up in barrels, actually show up in barrels. And then I've got down here my ore. Everything gets figured out. Everything gets sorted. And it's not real hard to get started with an applied energistics system. The only hitch is, first of all, the bigger your system, the more power it takes. So applied energistics right now, that's 8.3 Minecraft joules per tick. This small system is 83 RF, or 83 redstone blocks per tick. So that being said, I could power this system with, if I toned it back a little bit, maybe if I got rid of this import bus, I could trim the power back to 80, and power it with one dynamo. But very quickly, you're going to run across this, and it has a constant draw as long as you want to be able to take things into it and pull things out. So if you're doing a lot of automation, this can end up costing you a lot of resources in power. And that's something to think about. That being said, applied energistics goes beyond a sorting system. It goes beyond a storage system. You can automate resources. You can automate resources being processed. You can automate crafting and so much more with the system. It is very powerful, and it's worth its own spotlight to really delve into long term. And we will get to that. But this is just to let you know what the basics are. Now, the upside that I like for using chests and buses over these storage chests, yes, you can technically fit more into these actual chests, but they require power from the AE core. If I just had normal chests or barrels here with storage buses on the back, I could turn this off and still access everything ordinarily, which I think is right. And I really do like that, I think, better. That being said, I could have all of this crammed onto just a couple of these discs and consolidate the entire build just down to these 4 blocks. And that's pretty powerful. So there's a lot of flexibility in applied energistics. Now, wrapping things up for this particular edition of simple sorting systems is the vanilla Minecraft one. That a lot of people thought that this isn't really possible, and it's not exactly simple. It's not exactly small, but this is 100% vanilla. These are alternating chests and trap chests going all the way down here. And this whole thing is tileable. You would be able to keep doing it all the way down. So what you do, I've got some redstone torches down here that are locking these actual hoppers in place. These hoppers don't have anything in them right now. They're empty. And then there are redstone repeaters. And there's, comparators up here. The comparators are actually looking at this line of hoppers. And every single one of these lines of hoppers has 22 items in it. 22 items basically means that it's putting out enough of a redstone signal to light up this one thing. This one square right here from the comparator. As soon as this hits 23, then this lights up, which then lights up this repeater, which turns off this torch, and a very quick click of a redstone tick, the hopper is turned off, the item is drained out, and it goes into this chest. So basically, what I have is 22 items of what I want to go through this hopper. If I only want redstone to go through here, wood of whatever kind, the only downside of this is that you have resources tied up right here. Now, I think you can actually do this with other items. Like if I wanted to, I could put 21 stone and then 1 redstone block right here, and that's a good way to do it. But you always want to make sure that your first slot is the item that you want to go through. Always. So if you're going to filter redstone, put redstone ore right here, and all the rest of them you could make 21 blocks of stone. Why 21 is because, 22 total. Like I said, as soon as this hopper has 23, this one right here has 23 items in it, it goes to turn this on, which then turns on this repeater, which turns this torch off, and there's a quick tick. So right now, I have a trap chest up here with a hopper underneath it. If I get stone and put it up there, it is going to tick out one by one, and it shows up right here. What's happening is basically when you look at hoppers, hoppers look, what am I connected to? If I'm connected to this block, it goes to this block. But it also checks to see if there's a hopper below it first. So it is going here. This hopper says, is there a hopper below me that will accept this? Oh, yes? Okay. If there's not, it goes to the next one. Will the hopper below me take this? Yes or no? If yes, great, have it. If no, go to the next one. And that's how it works. So this whole system is basically, it's sorted out that entire thing. If I put this back through here, you'll see. There's very quickly, you see that ticks off. And it's letting that go through because this hopper knows it can hand off that stone to this one. So it's passing it off immediately before it goes to the next one. It's a priority-based system. So this basically lets you sort things. The only problem is that you only can sort this stuff. There's all 64 of my stone. You can only do one item at a chest. Now, this is 100% vanilla materials. In the grand scheme of modded Minecraft, this is pretty cheap. But it definitely takes up a large footprint. This is only sorting 5 items. You see it's going through right now. I think that piece of wood is hitting down here. Yep, 63. It's now going through other kinds of wood, so yep, 35. So yeah, it's a really good system. It works. It's just large. And I do kind of think that everybody should understand vanilla redstone before really branching out into using things like rednet cabling or even insulated redstone cable from Ender.io or red alloy wire from Project Red. I think it's really good to know how this vanilla redstone works. And specifically because we're using this comparator system, as soon as there's more than one item, you'll see right here, this hopper has had, real quickly in it, it had 23 items. It turns that on as it stays at 23, and that turns the actual redstone torch under it off. Works great. It's a very simple system. I actually got this idea from one Mumbo Jumbo on YouTube. I will make sure and link to his video in the description below. But this is not an in-depth explanation of all the different sorting systems there are. This is not even every sorting system. There's still a mod called Tubes that I haven't gone into. And technically speaking, there is some way, I think, to make translocators into a sorting system. But I'm still figuring that one out, and it's going to take some work. So there might be a part 2, the storage solutions. There might be another, basically, version of this video that comes out. And in part 2, we might explore more. I will do a quick recap of logistics pipes in that one. But I've been doing so much logistics pipes on its own that I think this was kind of a good alternative for folks that may not like logistics pipes, to let you know what your options are. There's tons of documentation by the creators on all of these things. Project Red's documentation is still being fleshed out, but parts of it do exist. This sorting system has been around for a while, and it's very, very usable and very functional. Thermal expansion and Ender.io really aren't made for sorting, but you can technically do it. So, yeah, some of the real masters in sorting are Mekanism, or I really love the flexibility of extra utilities, because the sorting pipe, the mod sorting pipe, so much stuff like this makes it very powerful. And this, the new kid on the block, Refined Relocation, is very cool. It's still got some bugs that are being worked out of it. For the most part, I think it's very impressive, and I may start to use it around my base in some of my online games. We'll see. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has in some way opened your eyes to some alternatives that you might not have known about, and maybe some small mechanics on some things that you didn't realize were possible. I will be getting into some of these mods in greater detail, like Project Red. I expect I will be doing a mod guide devoted solely to that. And once Refined Relocation really hits off, I'll start branching out into more things that mod can do. But for now, I think this is going to be a good stopping point, a good appetite whetter to get your creative juices flowing and to get you really thinking about what's possible for storage and sorting solutions. So, this is Vaygrim signing off, and I appreciate you spending your time watching my videos. thank you for watching very, very much, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.